We should be live. Yep. Okay, so thank you guys for being here this morning for Thursday morning breakfast. Apologize for the late start. We had to get our technical set up. So I'm going to read Ms. Lisa Garrison's bio, who's here from Rescue
Pets Movement.
Rescue Pets Movement, yeah. So I'm going to read her bio, then we're going to jump right into it. For those that don't know, Thursday morning breakfast is about us connecting with the community, with people who are doing the actual work, and letting the community know that this work is going on, because a lot of times there's a lot of good going on in the city that people don't know about for whatever reason. So we want to make sure that we continue to be the bridge between those that are doing the work and those that need their work to be done in their lives, so we can, as a collective, make the community and the city better. So I'm gonna read Ms. Lisa Garrison's brief bio. Thank you for making it brief. I appreciate it. Because Lord have mercy, sometimes these bios are really long. Okay, so Lisa Garrison serves as a director of donor and community relations at Rescue Pets Movement, a Houston-based nonprofit dedicated to rescuing, rehabilitating, and transporting homeless dogs and cats to loving homes across the United States. With a deep-rooted passion for animal welfare, Lisa plays a pivotal role in fostering community engagement and securing vital support for RPM's mission. Next one is you thanking me for the platform to speak. Okay, cool. All right, so on that note, I turn over to Ms. Lisa Garrison, and she's gonna let us know about Rescue Pets Movement.
Yeah, so today I want to talk about Rescue Pets Movement, but I also want to talk about the stray and homeless animal crisis that we have here in Houston, and how Rescue Pets Movement is trying to mitigate that, and also how we can get involved a little more in the community and how the community can help as well. So I'll get started by talking about how we got here. How did we get to this crisis? And it is a crisis. I mean, you go down the street, you see a stray cat, stray dog almost every single day. I know every time I'm going to work, I'm seeing them running down the hallway. I mean, down the roadway. So how we got here is Houston and much of the South does not have any spay and neuter laws. So animals are out breeding year round. The climate here in Houston is also pretty temperate. We do have the occasional freezes now that are becoming more frequent, but animals are able to breed year round on the streets, and they're able to survive on the streets. Also, our culture, people want those golden doodles. People are treating their animals maybe less compassionately here in the South compared to places in the North. They're thought of as property more so than family. And then there was this big push for no kill at our shelters, stop the euthanasias. And that sounds great in practice, but if there's not enough people to adopt out these animals, if there's no spay and neuter laws, there's no place for these animals to go. So as Monty said, Rescue Pets Movement, we're a nonprofit. We're here in Houston. We're based just at TC Jester and 34th down the street here from Gatlin's. We are mostly taking at-risk animals off the euthanasia list at our city pound bark, Harris County Pets, other kind of smaller rescues as well. Any animal that is really at the most risk, we're trying to pull those since they're an immediate risk for euthanasia. So what we do is we take them in, we try to get them in a foster home first. Fostering is the best option. These animals have been in the shelter or on the street, so they really need a place to kind of decompress and learn how to be an actual pet. If we can't get them into a foster home, we have a boarding facility that we house them at. We have technicians that take care of their veterinary issues, and then we have animal care techs that are taking care of their food, enrichment, that kind of thing. And so we are also partnering with other rescues that are non-kill that are in other parts of the US. So that is our main mission, is to transport these animals out of Houston and get them to a northern state, mostly Colorado and Illinois. They don't have a stray issue like we do. So they want these adoptable pets. And so we get them on a van every week, and we ship them to Colorado or Illinois right now. And right there, they often already have a home waiting for them.
Wow.
And if not, the rescue partners that we collaborate with, they are actively trying to get them adopted there. And they go really fast up north, which is surprising when you think about Houston and how big of an issue it is here. So I already went through this, but we do not adopt out locally. That's just not part of our mission. Our mission is focused on transporting these animals because we don't have enough people to adopt animals here in Houston. There's other shelters that do adopt locally in Houston and they do it great, but that's just not what we do here. So we're not a public shelter. We're not taking animals off the streets. We're not allowing people to come and drop their animals off at us. We are specifically just targeting those at-risk, euthanasia risk animals that are in our county shelters. So this means we don't get adoption fees. We are entirely donor-based, grant-based. PetSmart Charities, Petco Love helps us out. And then we just have a really great community of donors that also care about this mission. So how it works, like I said, Houston has its overpopulation problem. We get them off of the streets, or we get them off out of park, who got them off the streets. We foster them. Any issues that they have, a lot of times they have an upper respiratory infection, or some type of skin issue just from being on the streets. So we treat that and get them healthy enough to transport. So transport day. Today is actually transport day.
Okay.
So every Thursday we transport dogs and cats to Colorado. It starts early at 6 a.m. From 6 to 8 a.m. fosters are dropping their pets off that they have in their home that are ready for transport. The drivers are setting up the vans, making sure everything's secure. I think we've got 7 vans right now. They're Mercedes Sprinter vans that we've outfitted to be climate controlled and secure with the crates. So they're getting all that all set up right now, making sure that they have all the supplies, puppy pads, food, water, all of that. The animals that are in our shelter that are transporting, they are being walked and fed right now, getting ready to leave. So let's see, it's almost 9 now. So the vet is probably there right now and they're just examining each animal as they're getting on the van to make sure that they don't have any contagious illnesses. So if they've got an upper respiratory infection, for instance, is a common one, if they can't go on the van because then they can get all the other dogs sick. And it's just a doggy cold, it's not a big deal, but we don't want to spread it. So the vans make a 24-hour drive to Colorado, and there's 2 drivers per van. One is sleeping or taking care of the animals while the other is driving, and then they alternate. And every few hours we stop and we let the dogs out to walk. They have their regimented meal times. The cats do not get let out to walk. We get that question sometimes, but no, we leave the cats. They've got big travel crates that they're in, so they do have room. They've got a litter box, they've got food and water in there as well. So why do we transport? So the northern states, as I was mentioning, don't have the problem that we do here. So they have, specifically Colorado, which is one of our bigger ones, they have spay and neuter laws. So pet owners are required to spay and neuter their pets at a certain age if they're not going to be used for breeding. They also have just this really strong adoption culture where they want to be part of the solution. It's just a different mindset than it is in much of the South. And then they also have really cold winters. So animals are not able to breed year round on the streets. They're not able to survive on the streets like they are here.
They're the same for Illinois for the spay and neuter laws.
It's a little different there. So Chicago, I think, also has a big issue. So I don't think it's a statewide thing there. But yes, they have more laws in place than we do here. So RPN is doing some really great work. I am so proud to be part of this organization. Wow. We've saved over 96,000 animals as of like today, which is incredible. Yeah. In 2024 alone, we made 270 round trips, drove 501,000 miles, and transported almost 7,400 dogs and cats. We just reached a really cool milestone. I think it's on my next slide. Yeah, so 75,000 animals we've saved from bark alone. So we have this really great kind of collaboration partnership with BARK. We are their primary high volume rescue collaborator. So there is nobody pulling more animals from BARK than we are.
And what's BARK?
BARK is the City of Houston's municipal shelter. So BARK has come under a lot of flack lately. There's so many stray animals and people aren't able to drop them off at Bark because Bark is already overcrowded. So Bark kind of did this updated mission because they're trying their best. They really are. So they are making public safety their number one. So they're dedicated to responding to almost all safety concern calls. So they're high priority calls, because they really want fewer attacks on people.
Is that a problem? Animals, trans attacking people?
It is, especially in kind of underprivileged areas. You're seeing more stray animals, people dumping animals, and there's been some frequent attacks. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, a little boy, Zachariah, he was riding his bike and a dog was chasing him. Y'all might have heard of this, and he lost control of his bike and a car hit him and killed him.
Oh, wow.
That guy's still at large, by the way. We don't know who hit him.
Wow.
But yeah, you're seeing these kind of cases all the time. People that are getting attacked by stray dogs on the street. Sometimes it's fatal, sometimes it's just a really rough injury. So we do want to help make the community a safer place, and Bark is trying that as well. So their live release has been under scrutiny. You know, everyone wants less euthanasia. Why are you killing healthy dogs? Is what they're getting a lot. And it starts with the community. I mean, the community has to be there to help. They have to be spay and neutering their animals. They have to be helping in their community. They have to be getting their pets microchipped. So if they get lost, they're able to get them back. So live release has been secondary for Bark. They're really focusing on public safety right now, but they are actively trying to get more adoptions, more fosters, more groups like RPM that are transporting animals out of state. And right now there's just not enough money designated to Bark, unfortunately. So they're responding to 58% of all the calls that come through for stray homeless animals. But they're responding to 99% of those high priority ones. So those ones that there's a bite risk, there's a dangerous animal out. That's what they're focusing on because they're trying to get less bite calls. So this chart is just really impactful to me. You can see this is the animal control budget per capita, and you can see Houston there in red. $6.75 per citizen goes toward the animal control budget here in Houston. Whereas you can see these other major cities that are not as large as Houston have a much higher budget. So how can you help? First off, adopt. Don't go buy the golden doodles and the little Frenchies. We have those in our shelters, believe it or not. We have a bulldog right now named Meatball. It's pure blood bulldog. We get Frenchies all the time. We get doodles all the time. We get Huskies.
These are purebred.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
People who just, maybe they bit off more than they can chew. Huskies are a very active, vocal dog. So maybe people bought it as a puppy, didn't realize it was going to be what it was. But we have young dogs, we have puppies. Really visit your local shelter first if you really want a purebred dog, because we are seeing those every day. Another big thing is to vote. Make sure you're voting in your local elections and you know who you're voting for. If you're seeing these issues, call your reps, let them know this is a concern to you, let them know it's a public safety issue. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. So just the more you can speak on this and the more that you can send emails, make calls, the better that it'll be for the community. Another way is to volunteer. All of your local shelters, we're all overcrowded in Houston. We could all use help, whether it's folding laundry or walking dogs or doing dishes, like little things like that make such a big impact at a shelter who doesn't have the funds to spend on staff to do these things. Spay and neuter your pets, another really big one. Kind of cutting off the issue from the beginning is going to be really impactful for our community. Consider fostering dogs. If you have a home or a lifestyle that allows you to foster an animal, that would be fantastic. RPM specifically, we give you everything you need. We give you food, we give you litter, we give you medicines, everything's covered. Anything you could want for the animal, we provide. Sometimes all we need is just like a spare bathroom to have some kittens in for a couple weeks before they transport. And so by fostering, you're allowing us to have an open space in our facility to pull other animals that are at risk. So it's really a very impactful way to help. Also raise awareness, tell your friends about it. Let them know this is a problem, let them know how they can help. Tell them to vote, tell them to get out there and speak to their representatives. And then also donations. If you're able to donate, donate to your local shelter. Donate to BARC, donate to RPM, donate to any of these rescues that are around the Houston area because they need it. This is definitely a community problem. It is not just something that you have to wait for someone else to fix. So a question we get asked a lot whenever animals are people are trying to drop their animals off or stray animals that they find at RPM, what are they supposed to do with this animal? The reality is BARC is not able to accept every single animal. And so I wanted to I made this flow chart to make it a little easier to understand. There's no good answer for this, honestly, because it is hard. There's just nowhere for this animal to go. But your first step is going to be to get this animal checked out. So if you have an animal that comes up to your property, get this animal checked out at a vet. They'll scan for free, or an animal shelter. They'll scan for microchip to see if there is an owner on file for this animal. If there is, you're able to reunite them. Happy ending, perfect for everybody. But a lot of times we're seeing that these pets are not microchipped.
Right.
A lot of times they're just not owned. So if they cannot be identified, first you want to check to see if the animal looks visibly sick, if it's injured, anything like that. You can immediately take it to BARC. So BARC will take any animal that is a newborn or is injured. No appointment needed. So if the animal is seemingly healthy, doing fine, if you can catch it safely and secure it in a backyard or a garage, or if you're able to put it in your home, that's always the best option. And you can call 311 for BARC, for animal control, to come pick it up. Like I said, though, they're really only responding to those high priority calls where this animal is at risk of injuring somebody. So the next step from there, you have this animal, don't know what to do with it. It's perfectly healthy. BARC's not able to come pick it up. The next step is for you to hopefully be the one that can provide some care for it for a couple of days. And the next step would be to just talk to your community, post it on Nextdoor, post this animal. There's different Facebook groups that you can be a part of, that you can post this animal pictures, where you found it, that kind of thing. Really just kind of rally the community support to see if anybody has seen this dog, knows where this animal belongs, and knows if anybody would be willing to foster it. So if you only have a few days to give, that's pretty common. A lot of people can't just bring another animal into their life that easily. But rallying around some community members can be really helpful. A lot of people are willing to give them some space. So see if anybody can help. That's going to be your number one. If no one can help, last resort, take the animal to BARC. You can get appointments. It's usually a few weeks out for BARC, or you can call them to pick it up. The unfortunate reality is there's just not a lot of places for these animals to go. I've got some resources here, and it's also on our website, rescuepetmovement.org, under the resources tab, that lets you know what to do when you find a missing pet or you need to rehome a pet. And there's a list of no-kill shelters as well as like your city municipal shelters. So there's probably a list of 35 or so. So you can go through that list and see if anybody is able to help from those organizations as well. So if an owner isn't identified after a few days and you're not able to take care of the animal, you are going to want to turn them into BARC. If you cannot find somebody to foster them short term, if you are able to foster through BARC, that's always really helpful too, because BARC doesn't have the space, but if you're able to foster, they can take them into their program, which means they're also providing their medical care, getting them spayed and neutered, all of that while they're in your care, waiting to go to somebody that's adoptable. And if you do end up finding the owner through any number of means, make sure you're verifying. There are unfortunately some bad people out there that just are getting animals for dog fighting, or they want to resell it or something like that. So verify that it is actually the owner by asking for photos of them. And meet in a public place. Always meet in a public place.
Good.
So next I kind of want to open it up for questions, questions that you have, and also how can RPM and these animal organizations benefit their community a little more? What are some tools that we can give you as community members? RPM is hosting a free microchip and vaccine clinic. We haven't nailed down the date yet, but I'll get that to Monty whenever we have it. But we want the community to be able to come in and we want the community to be able to come in and get their pets taken care of at a no cost to them, because it's really important for the homeless pet crisis to like really get healthy pets, get microchip pets.
Okay, I have a few questions. Hey, but then, my name is Mon. My name is Joey. Gene Cruz. You running the company, right?
Yes.
All right, so my first question, I'm gonna direct to him, but for you as well.
Okay.
So it's for both of you guys, and I'm putting you on the seat, brother, because you're running, but that's different. Right, so my first question was, or is, you said there are no spay and neuter laws, right? How can we change that? No, brother. If you were to win office, I apologize to you, Shay. When you win office, what, and I know this might be a completely new issue, okay, wait a minute, good. So what can you do to help us create some spay and neuter laws, so to help us eliminate this issue?
Well, first, I can be an example.
Okay,
That's the first thing I
Yeah.
do. I own a pit bull. He's spayed and neutered.
okay,
He's never had an issue.
okay,
He lives on a game corridor,
okay,
and he's trained as well. I had my dog trained. I
Okay.
paid to have my dog trained.
right,
So that it wouldn't be a nuisance to the community.
sure,
So that's the first thing I can do, is be an example to the community and show them how I treat my dog
amen,
and what I do for my pet,
Right.
you know, and I feed them, I go to the feed store
okay,
to feed, to buy premium dog food
okay.
for my dog, to make sure he's healthy
Mhm.
and well taken care of, and he makes sure that he goes to the vet. I also put him on social media,
Okay,
so they will see that I am a dog owner.
okay,
And when I had him trained, I also posted, you know, my dog being trained.
okay.
So that's the first thing I can do, be an example.
Okay, that's a lot of first things, but I'm glad you, because you know, but in that, there's a lot of people, they just talk, but they're not really about that life, if you will.
Right.
So I'm glad your answer is as detailed as it is.
And I've always been a dog.
Yeah.
I've always been a dog owner since I was a child.
Okay,
I made sure my mother, you know, got me a pet when I was young.
Okay.
And we always had it as a pet, not as a fighting dog.
right,
Never, it was always a house dog.
Companion.
A companion. My dog has a choice to sleep outside or sleep inside.
okay,
The only issue we have is, them sleeping on my couch.
right. Not here, buddy.
So,
Out of curiosity, why you choose that breed, people, out of curiosity?
to be honest with you, I've had several different dogs.
Okay,
I've had other boxers.
okay,
Um,
why, because they're smart? They're
They're
energetic?
smart,
Yeah.
and they're smart, and they're less aggressive.
Yeah, they're very smart.
Yeah, very
You're
smart.
smart sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now that I have a pit bull, because I do live in the pit bull community,
Okay,
I do live on the main corridor,
okay,
and I'm a empty nester.
it's a visual deterrent.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah.
think, hey, it is what it is, I understand.
And to be honest with you, my community knows my dog
Okay,
by name,
okay, oh, really?
by name.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, when
Okay.
they walk by, they put, he's a pit bull, so I tell people he's not dangerous, but he's very strong.
right,
So just be careful,
Right.
okay,
okay,
if I even have my gate open.
Yeah.
My dog will not go out the gate.
because they're trained.
I train.
Amen.
That's a good baby.
Yeah, Yeah.
So that's the first thing I can do, is be an example.
Okay.
And then I can also partner with organizations such as this organization and bringing them into some of the, I'm running for the 18th congressional
Yes, sir.
district,
Yes, sir.
which was underserved community.
Yeah.
And the reason why we have so much of these stray dogs in these communities, because we don't have the education and the knowledge from people like her.
That's one of my questions. How can we better educate the public? So,
And
yeah,
we
that's good.
can- and I'm a super neighborhood, former super neighborhood vice president,
Okay.
and city club president as well.
Okay.
So we can bring people like her embark in the community and on a more frequent basis
Okay.
to educate us and make us knowledgeable about what's going on in our community.
Yeah.
Today I have a young lady who needs to get rid of, well, I hate to say it like that, but get rid of her cat
Sure.
for other reasons.
Mhm.
And I'm listening to her. Actually, I'm looking for ideas.
Yeah.
So I can go back to this constituent and give her the information on what you need to do to safely have your dog, your cat,
Okay.
adopted. So,
Okay.
information, education,
Yeah.
and example.
Yeah. Amen.
There's also a really great organization called Barrio Dogs.
Barrio dog.
Barrio Dogs.
Okay.
And they're another animal rescue. They also pull for bark as well. But they're going out to schools and they're starting to educate the younger generation, which is fantastic. Because these are going to be pet owners soon and they need to know the proper way to take care of it. So they're really focused on education, especially with young people. So I would look into them. They've been a really great organization.
And my dog is very child friendly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a child and no issues at all. Not
Yeah.
one.
I
Okay.
love that you have a pit bull because that is almost in all of the animals that come in, they always have some type of pit mix in them.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
yeah, pit bulls are actually a very, very good dog. They've got a lot of bad
Yeah.
flags
Bad
about them.
reputation, yeah.
But they were known as like the nanny dog because they were so good with children.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's people who
Yeah.
have turned them into something worse.
Okay.
And I have the, excuse me.
No, this is
but
good.
I have the, I don't know if it's Bark or the city
Okay.
who passed it out, because I live in Maine.
Bark is the city, right?
Yeah, Bark is
Bark
the
is
city of
Bark.
Houston.
I live on the main corridor.
Okay.
Lines Avenue, and they drive by and they wave at me all the time.
Okay.
Because they know I have a dog.
Sure.
They see the dog and they see I'm a
A
responsible.
responsible owner.
Yeah.
dog.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure I've already reached out to you to invite you to speak and be a part of the panel, right? You did get an email from me?
When, for which one?
Well, for any available Thursday morning, for sure, but we're having a panel of several candidates on the 14th of August and the 11th of September. So if I did email you, I'll resend it, but I'm only asking that because, I think his answer was a good answer as far as a candidate.
Yeah.
So how can we make sure that I put this on their radar along with other candidates, since we're gonna have them coming through here? So if Brother James is willing to be open, to listen, to learn, and to do whatever he can to make this crisis a part of his campaign, then he could really lead by example and get the other candidates on board. So
Absolutely.
do you have anything you want to say in response to his answer, which was a good answer? And what would you say to the other candidates? Because they're going to be watching this. We've already had one. We got another 8 already scheduled because they're going to be here. So what would you say to him as well as the other candidates as far as how
I
can
would
you help?
say, listen to your constituents, like listen to their issues and what you're seeing most frequently as issues in their communities. As well as consider the budget, look at the numbers, look at how underrepresented Houston is in per capita dollars for their animal rescue compared to other cities in Texas. See what they're doing, see how they're partnering with their local community to mitigate this huge crisis of homelessness.
Okay. This wasn't one of my questions, but since you just mentioned the budget, do you know why? Because I think all the cities that you showed as far as the budget.
Yeah.
Houston was larger than all of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. But why is Houston so low? Is that because of education and information or some other reason?
I think there's just a lot of other issues too, and so you have to kind of pick and choose what is most important for the community.
Right.
And animal welfare, unfortunately, has just been kind of lower on the radar. I mean, we've got flooding, we've got
Sure.
power grid issues.
Sure.
And so those are all kind of fresh in people's minds, and that's what people are talking about a lot. And so until you have an issue or until you see the issue firsthand, you're ignoring it, right? So if you don't live in a community that has a lot of stray animals.
Right.
So like our minority communities and undereducated communities.
Sure.
They have this issue, but they're not speaking up about it.
Okay.
So it is an issue. It's just the people that are voting and the people that are speaking up are not the ones that are actively living it. And so we need more people to speak up about it. That's what we need.
Another question for you, brother, since you're here, thank you for coming. How, as a candidate, as the next congressperson, thank you for that. How do you, because money is always an issue. And everything, for the most part, requires money. How are you going to fund important things when there are a lot of important things that need to be funded? How are you gonna handle that challenge? Because that's a serious issue, seriously.
Yeah, it's a very serious issue. It's always an issue about finance.
Yeah.
But one of the bullet points that I saw that struck me was awareness.
Okay,
The awareness and the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
that's right.
You know, all
Gotta
the
make some
time.
noise.
So we're not, like she said, we're not, for one, educated.
Mhm.
And the only thing that I would say is that my constituents are saying something about it,
Okay.
but not being heard.
Oh, that's a different issue. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's a leadership
I
issue.
do.
That's a leadership issue. Yes, sir.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So my community is not it's not being heard.
Okay.
Bart just happens to be in this board,
Mm-hmm.
but I see stray packs of dogs almost every day.
Packs.
They come and play
Mhm.
at the gate with my dog.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm, wondering what's the fuss outside,
Right.
and I come outside.
It's a house party.
That's
My homies rolled up.
And it was one dog that was so little, it was able to get in the gate.
Through the gate.
Right? And
And security what?
And I got a big pit bull playing with pool.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what's going on here?
Okay.
So awareness will be one of the great things, and also funding nonprofits
Mhm.
who are running these organizations,
Okay.
making sure they're properly funded. But like she said earlier, BARC is unfunded.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so much that BARC can do.
Sure.
Yeah, they're passionate about what they do.
Yep.
But like I tell my constituents, man, sometimes you got more money left than you have money.
Yeah, more often than not. Yeah, that happens. Yes, sir.
So we need to make sure some of those organizations are funded,
Mhm.
well funded, and connected with one another.
Okay.
Because we can do more with more
Yeah.
groups than we can do with less. It wouldn't take as much money if these organizations would partner together as well.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because we have so many here, there,
Right.
that we can bring them together.
Yeah.
And in some form, allocate what each organization is doing,
Mhm.
and making sure we allocate funds to those different purposes.
Okay. Yeah.
I think something that's on Bart's mind right now. So for instance, like Rescue Pets Movement, we're the best at transport. So maybe partnering with us to do more transports. Barrio Dogs is really great at education. It's used to Pets
Okay.
Alive.
So finding a
partnering
strength of
with-
who does what.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of my questions that this is my first time meeting the president. So he is not setting me up for these questions, but I do appreciate it. So one of my questions was,
I just filed.
Yep.
if we use it, if we use it, otherwise it's just information.
That's it. I like that.
I'm glad he said what he said, because one of my questions was, given the enormity of the problem, I don't think you used the word crisis just by chance. I think you meant that. So are there enough organizations to handle the problem, or do we not only need to create some sort of alliance and consortium, but get some other people to start some organizations, because there's simply not enough people doing the work? Is that also part of the problem?
I think the bigger issues are not, there's too many animals for the amount of people that are able to adopt in Houston.
Okay.
I think that is kind of the root cause. That's why we're trying to get them out of the state.
Okay.
Because there's just nowhere for them to go. Even if, all the organizations are working really well. Do we need more shelters? Maybe, but who's gonna adopt these animals?
Sure.
They can't just sit in a shelter. That's not.
So it goes
Place
back
it.
to fundamentally spaying and neutering. That's what
It
sounds
does,
like.
it
Yeah,
does,
because
absolutely
They can't
does.
create and you eliminate the problem.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. And adopting and not buying golden doodles.
Not buying
Golden doodles.
golden doodles. Okay. Golden doodles. Okay. My next question is, well, I have a few. You guys did no question? Okay. You said animals at the most risk. How do you determine what most risk is?
So these are gonna be the animals that have landed on the euthanasia list, and if you're not aware, Bark every day comes out with a list of the animals that unfortunately are going to have to be euthanized if they haven't been adopted or
Okay.
pulled by a rescue. And so our rescue team is looking at these lists every day. And so they're
Comes out
pulling
every
the
day?
ones every day,
Oh, wow.
every day.
Okay.
And so they're trying to tag as many as they can that are on the euthanasia list to go that day or the next day.
Okay.
And so part of their process is our rescue partners that we have in other states. They're also part of this as well. So they'll be like, I want that dog, I want that
Oh, really?
dog.
Okay.
Yeah, I want that litter of puppies. Like, we'll take this mom
Awesome.
and babies. Like, so having that partnership is really important too, because we can't tag them all. We have to have a place for them to go.
Sure.
So it's either we have fosters that are willing to open their homes for them
Mhm.
until we can get them transported, or we have our transport partners that have already said, yes, we will take that animal into our program.
Okay. I have a daughter who's a chef in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a short drive at all.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, she's good at it. So, are there no closer states that have spay and neuter laws by which you guys could partner with, as opposed to always having to drive all the way to Colorado, all the way to Illinois? Are there no closer states?
No,
Oh,
not really. So
So is this a national issue with spay
it
and
is
neuter laws?
national, yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's a lot with the South. So if you go kind of the Pacific Northwest, or you go up to like New York and that kind of northeastern area, they have a need for adoptable pets.
Okay.
And so you really do have to transport them.
The colder
that
climate
far.
because they don't have this.
Yes, Canada's a
Yeah,
big
right,
one.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so we are trying to partner with more states to try and get more rescue partners in other states as well. So that's on the horizon for the coming years here for us at RPM. But yeah, the South, I mean, like you said, your friend in Shreveport
Shreveport.
has the same issue. It's just breeding nonstop.
Yeah,
out here.
spay and
Spay and neuter.
free sex, huh?
Have you ever,
Free love.
and this is just kind of thinking out the box up there for this. Have you ever thought about partnering with the disabled?
Ooh, oh, good answer.
Do you mean to have them help at the rescue, or to
Yeah,
partner with them?
Yeah, adopt for them. What is that called? What's that called when they have a pet?
Oh, the service?
Service dog.
Service, oh, yeah, service animal, yeah.
Because we have a huge population of disabled.
It's a good idea, yeah.
And we could also, you know, maybe come up with a program to where they can adopt a companion,
Yeah.
you know, as a pet, because they're not only that some of them disabled, but they're living by themselves as well.
Have a
And
companion.
disabled.
Yeah.
You know, my dog comes running in with his big self. I mean, I love the compassion, but I hate, you know, I hate it when he jumps on me.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, we just, you know, play and, you know, and he sells my day sometimes.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a strong breed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not meant for everybody.
Not with
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
not with everybody.
So I know there
I like
are
that.
organizations that do that. RPM is not gonna be one of those, just because we really have to focus on doing one thing really well,
Sure.
which is transporting.
Yeah, but the partnership,
Yes.
because
yes.
that is a viable answer to a
Mhm.
critical problem.
Yes.
So if that can be a part of an information education packet, if you will. And since you're already in the industry and you already have these partnerships, maybe something could be worked out where we're saying we need to get more of these smaller breeds, if you will, or more hospitable breeds that aren't so strong. Like my kids were young, we had 2 German Shepherds,
Mhm.
very strong.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, I was the only one that could walk them because they listened to me and I could hang on. Because they are strong breeds.
Right.
Yeah,
So maybe that's a viable option by which we can have
Yeah.
some sort of program created, you know?
that would be great.
That makes sense.
I know
It's
one of
fucking sense.
my
And don't cost no money.
one of my friends in Dallas works with a kind of rescue group like that places animals with people who have disabilities, whether it be PTSD for veterans or
Yeah.
blind, deaf, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And so they provide this for free because service animals are very expensive.
Because they have to be trained, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they go through strict training, and so people charge a lot to provide a service animal to you.
So with that reality, I guess it wouldn't be as simple as if you have a straight Cocker Spaniel, if you will, something small, and the person is disabled, elderly, or whatever. It won't be as simple as putting that Cocker Spaniel with the elderly person. Would there have to be training for that dog?
There would be if it's some type of companion animal and not trained to do a specific task.
okay,
You
right.
know, like some people have dogs that
Sure,
are trained for alert for seizures or
Yeah.
something. But if it's specifically to just be a companion animal, just some basic training, which is not as expensive.
Sure.
You know, sit, stay, don't jump, that
Right.
kind of thing. I mean, we get all types of dogs in. Some of them are docile, calm little dogs.
Right.
And some of them are jumpy, big breeds.
Yeah.
So I think just matching the right
With the right
animal
breed.
with the right person.
Yeah, I like that because that is a viable solution and it's not a costly solution.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and it could be as simple as, like you said earlier, more, and that's one of my questions, is one of the answers, more education. Because if the community is better informed and the community has a need, the community sees the problem, then sometimes the problem and the answer, they exist, they just don't exist together.
Yeah.
So that's something that, that could be something.
Yeah, well said.
Okay.
Well said.
Thank you again, I appreciate it, but I'm glad you came. All right, my next one, you mentioned adoption fees. You said, well, at least we'll have adoption fees. I don't know what that is. What is that?
So kind of our rescue partners, and anytime you're adopting from a shelter, even here, even Bark, sometimes they're waiving their adoption fees, but usually you're paying $50 for a puppy or whatever, and it's kind of just like a initial fee to help them offset their
Sure.
costs for this animal.
Okay,
Like a lot of our partners in other states, they're charging like $500 for these animals.
regardless of breed?
Yeah, so puppies are like 500, and then
Regardless of
are
breed,
like
they're charging
300.
that?
Yeah,
Wow.
yes, and that's expected,
Yeah.
and people are paying it. But we don't get that,
Yeah.
right? We're not adopting out, we're just transporting them.
Yeah.
And we're paying gas money, we're paying drivers to transport these animals.
Not a short trip.
No, it's not a short trip. And Mercedes premium gas, in these Sprinter vans, so, yeah, thankfully, it's hard. I mean, it's been harder this year, I think, than many years past. The uncertainty in the economy, people aren't as forthcoming with their money right now because they are saving for retirement. They don't know what the market's gonna do.
What this president's gonna do?
They don't know. They don't know. So we're not seeing as much money come through. Grants are on pause because the funding for grants has been paused for the government assistance. So the money that we had coming in previous years is just not coming in as strong anymore. So we're having to get creative with things, doing different fundraisers,
Sure.
Relying on the community to fundraise on our behalf, applying for other grants, doing more research into those. So it's hard, but
Okay.
luckily we've got a good community support behind us and a little nest egg.
Tariffs or the cuts, government affected, what do you do?
Yeah, so I would say the cuts, yes, because we're grant funded in that aspect. As far as tariffs, we have not seen it that heavily yet, because a lot of our supplies, like our medical equipment, crates, anything that we use for the animals, a lot of that we're getting donated to us. Fortunately, so we're not having to we're able to spend our money on the transport and the veterinary care, and a lot of like the food and supplies is being donated to us. So we have not seen that as strong as we thought we would, thankfully. But everything is more expensive. We have an Amazon wish list, and it's not as many people are buying off our wish list anymore, because things that were $10 are now $25.
Right.
So we're seeing a lower volume of things come in. So yes, it is affecting us, but not as strongly as I thought it was going to.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
I love dogs. I do not like cats.
Yeah.
My mom had some Skip that loved to sit on her lap.
Mhm.
Where was my space?
It's personal.
It is, but I love dogs.
Yeah.
I've gone from having a Rottweiler to a German police dog to a little bitty dog, which I love.
Mhm.
And during winter storm, Fury, I nearly froze to death.
Yeah.
But my dog did freeze to death.
Oh,
And
I'm
I
so
have to
sorry.
decide if I'm going to get another one or not. So I love Rose. When do you find that the stray dogs are out? Which season?
Yeah, so that would be, I mean, it's year round, but spring, since it's warmed up, spring is mating season for a lot of dogs and cats. So we see a huge influx of puppies and kittens during that time. Yeah. But yeah, fostering is actually a really good option for you too. If you're not ready to adopt, you maybe foster for a couple weeks and decide, no,
Yes.
not yet, then that's fine, and that's perfectly fine. But we've found that a lot of people that are suffering that loss, that big grief,
Yeah.
and they're not ready for another animal,
Yeah.
permanently.
Bridge in between.
Yeah, just getting a
Right.
little bit of that love back, that
Right.
unconditional
That
love that you have
companionship.
from that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. My next question, I want to have two more. What kind of effort, and this goes to my brother's question. What kind of efforts are made to better educate the public on the spay and neuter and microchip importance? What kind of efforts are made to educate the public on that?
Yeah, so speaking at events like this,
Yep.
this is something that I've been trying to get involved in more, speaking at more neighborhood groups, doing a little bit more education on our social media pages. I mentioned Barrio Dogs. They're doing a great job coming into communities and schools to speak on behalf of this. Yeah, I mean, there's several organizations that are trying. If we could get more city involvement, that would be great as well. I think they're, doing the best they can with the amount of people they have as well. But yeah, I think, you guys hearing this and you guys online hearing this, you can go out and speak about it now a little bit better, understand what's going on and talk to your friends, talk to your cousins, talk to your coworkers, anybody, that you can get to listen and really just spread the awareness.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, you don't know.
Right. Okay, that good? All right, so my second to last question is, you kind of just said it a little bit, so what areas do you guys currently serve?
Mhm.
And how many shelters are in the city as relates to those that are working with the city? So what area do you guys serve and how many shelters are working with the city with this overall issue?
Yeah, so we're primarily pulling from BARC, which is in the Fort. But we also pull from Montgomery County, Galveston County, Fort Bend County Animal Shelter, so kind of this greater Houston area, but most of our focus is on BARC, since that's what is most needed there, is us. I don't have the answer to how many rescue groups there are within this greater Houston metropolitan. There's quite a few.
Okay.
Quite a few. I mean, you can, I have a list here on this pamphlet, and also in the resources tab on our website, of a lot of the ones that we partner with, and that we find to be reputable, good organizations.
Okay, cool. All right, does anybody else have a question? Y'all good? And my last question is anything you want to say in closing?
No, thank you for giving me this platform to speak. Thank you for letting me raise some more awareness on this. We've got a lot of work to do as a community. And if you have any more questions for me, you can reach out to me at lisa@rescuedpetsmovement.org. I'd be happy to speak at your community event or help you with any other issues that you have with animal welfare.
Okay, let's give Lisa a hand real quick, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so let me
Last
close.
question for you.
Go ahead.
What's your information on this flyer?
So I don't believe my information's on this flyer. This is specifically just what to do if you find a homeless animal. And then there's also some low cost vet information on there as well.
And what was your contact information?
It's Lisa, Lisa at rescuedpetsmovement.org.
Lisa and Rescue
Pets with an S. Movement.org. Yep, and feel free to share my contact information.
Oh,
as well, buddy.
don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Good.
So what I want to say in closing is that, of course, we have the digital magazine, the Go for Care Digital. This is a digital magazine that we put out every Tuesday. It comes out every week. This is our last speaker, which is why he's on the cover. So guess who's going to be on the cover next week? Miss Lisa Garrison. So we do this because, again, there are a lot of good things happening in the city.
Yep.
But the people don't always get the good information because there's not a connection with the good work and the people getting the information. So I'm glad our brother talked about the importance of information sharing and education because it's extremely important. I'm glad you talked about it, but it's going to have to be more than just us mentioning it. We have to be intentional about it. So as we get out into the community 3 weekends of every month for our own personal reasons, I'm creating what I'm calling a community benefits package that I want to be able to give people something that they will see that there's a benefit to being connected to the Grow for Care Alliance. And there's no reason why your information should not be a part of the benefits package because it's a benefit that people can get because people see stray animals all the time, but they might not. And I'm glad you showed that flow chart because if you see the animal and you want to do something about it, you might not know because you don't know. But if we can put that kind of information out to the community, then of course, the more you know, the better equipped you are to actually do something about it. And that's what we want to do with the magazine. So I wanted to share that because we're not just about talking. We're not just about speaking. We want to make sure that we are action oriented and we're getting people on the right path to not only being a part of things that matter and being a part of solutions that matter, but we are creating our own answers and not always looking for others to do it for us.
Yep.
That sounds great, but sometimes when you are Black and or brown, we don't always get the help that we deserve and that we need. So we have to be proactive and then create those alliances with those who have the resources to help make this happen. So on that note, brother, as a candidate, do you want to come up real quick and say a few things?
Sure.
And then we'll close this thing out.
Hey, thanks for having me today, out here at the, Gatlin's Barbecue, for this event. It's a very important event today because, Houston is a huge city.
Yes, it is.
And we do have, NASA always say, Houston, we have a problem. And, Mark says we have a problem with our pets, spading and neutering. I'm Dr. James Joseph, and I'm running for Congress for the 18th Congressional District. And the reason why I'm running for Congress is because of health care, education, economic development, and to unify our community once again.
Yes, sir.
Like it needs to be unified. We are gerrymandered pretty well in the 18th Congressional District, but thank God I'm a native Houstonian and I know the city like the back of my hand.
Okay.
So therefore, my name is Dr. James Joseph and I'm running for Congress for the 18th Congressional District.
All right.
Early voting is October 20th. The election day is November 4th.
All right.
If you want change, vote for James.
All right. Okay. All right. So on that note, we are having a special series of speakers coming through. Next Thursday is going to be a gentleman speaking from Lone Star Legal Aid, but every Thursday after that until September, we're going to have a candidate speaking about their platform and what they want to do for the 18th Congressional District. And of course, I'm hoping and praying that Brother James would be one of those speakers. He will definitely be. I'm going to make sure that he's on the panel that we're having in September because there are a lot of people running. Not everybody is equally qualified. And from what little research I have done on you, I like what I see. But more people need to see it and hear from you. So we want to make sure that we are intentional about getting those who say they want to represent us to actually speak to us because it's all about the relationship, the understanding. Oftentimes people run, they win, and then we don't see them again until it's the next time to run. As a community, we have to change that. No matter where you go in this country, I don't care what the people look like, what the election is, the level of the election, 70, 75, 80, 85% of people who can vote don't vote because they don't understand the connectivity between their vote and their personal lives. That's on them, but it's also on the leadership, quote unquote. Because if the leadership was more active, the person would see the benefit and then they would vote. But because there is a disconnect, as a community, we got to work on that disconnect, just like what you're saying this morning. We as a community, we can be more helpful if we better understand the problem.
Yeah.
And then we were like Brother James said, if we had a coalition that was intentional about ensuring that we're working on this spay and neuter issue. Same thing with every bullet point that you mentioned. If we are more intentional as a community, then we can make some things happen. But a lot of times people don't want us to be intentional. They don't want us to be organized. They don't want us to be connected and together. But that's a problem.
Yeah.
But we got to make sure that what they see as a problem, we understand it's a solution and it's going to be a big problem. if we don't work on a big solution. So on that note, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. You're up next on the magazine, and I'll see you guys next Thursday as we hear from Lone Star Legal Aid. You're well welcome, brother.